In this video, we're going to be covering a 1 to 2 handoff with a drill. Let's start off with just kind of the flow of what's going on, which is basically what we call in this system a 1 to 2, or for you guys a figure 8. If you watch the videos in which we talk about the angles of attack, we cover all this. It's basically just angles 1 and 2, and I'm just not stopping the flow. So from angle 1, it goes down and across, I bring it up, and angle 2, and I continue to go. Now for here, this is a downward figure 8, or a downward 1 to 2. I can have an upward 1 to 2, which just stops at the opposite end. I start off with the chuck down and across, up and across, and then it continues to go upward as it strikes, upward. So if there was a piece of paper in front of me, I would be hitting it up, not hitting it down. So we have this upward 1 to 2. As I do that, the handoff is really simple. I continue the flow and I toss it into my hand. All I'm doing is opening up my hand, opening my thumb, tossing the same stick into it, grabbing it firmly, and continuing the flow without stopping. So from the front, it'll look like this. 1 to 2, whenever I want to, I toss it into the hand, and the goal is to not stop the flow. If I do it sideways so you can see what's going on a little better, 1 to 2, toss it into the hand, and my hand will never stop moving. So that's the basic handoff, is the same stick. Now the opposite stick handoff is going to be the same motion, that 1 to 2 upward motion, but rather than me passing it off and keeping everything wide, I'm going to kind of tighten this up a little bit. So I'm going to take my hand, the one that I'm not using, turn it up like I'm reading a piece of paper. I'm leaving it there and I'm not really going to move it, but I'm going to kick my thumb out of the way so it's ready to grab. My chuck comes up, and as it comes up, I set the opposite stick into my hand. So you can kind of see it falls into my hand. I grab, and now the other stick that I was originally holding on to, I'm going to push with my hand. As I push, my goal is to take that free hand and touch my shoulder. Then I leave it in the front, toss the opposite stick, and grab. Same thing. Take the front stick, push, try to touch my shoulder. Push, grab, push, grab. Now as the chuck is kind of going in a circle, rather than keeping it so stiff, I'm going to kind of relax. Because remember, I'm just kind of doing this for dexterity purposes. So this allows me a little bit more mobility in my wrist. And if you notice, as I'm turning, I'm just kind of holding on to it with my thumb. My 4 fingers are just kind of free, hanging out. The thumb is allowing me to just kind of rotate the stick, and it stays pretty straight, which is the goal here. As you do this drill, you're going to toss it into the other hand, trying to keep the stick straight the entire time. Toss it into the other hand. Keep the stick straight the entire time. After a while, you'll go back and forth without stopping. So from the front, it'll look like this. Toss it into the hand, hit the shoulder. Then it's back into the other hand. Toss it into the hand, or here, hit your shoulder, leave it out, grab. Shoulder, grab, shoulder, grab. And if you look, if you notice, we're making a figure 8. It's still a figure 8. I have a circle over here, I have a circle over here, and I'm just passing off the opposite stick. From the side, this is what it looks like, and that's the opposite stick handoff from 1 to 2. Now, we did the original to cover what we've done so far. Same stick, upward 1 to 2. Drop the stick. All right, we have the opposite stick, 1 to 2. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to do a half rotation for the 1 to 2. So before, we were here, catching the opposite stick. Now we're going to let that stick pass by, open up our hand, and toss the same stick into the hand. So one more time. It passes by. We grab the same stick we were holding before, but now, in the positive, one more time. It passes through, and we grab. So from the front, it'll look like this. Notice how it's just kind of a nice, smooth drill. The goal is just kind of get used to passing off the same stick. This entire time, I'm not grabbing the opposite stick at all, but I'm allowing it to rotate, pass, open my hand, and toss it into my hand. One more time. It comes through, it passes, open my hand, toss in the same stick. One more. Passes by, my hand is open and it passes by. I let go, and I allow the same stick to drop into my hand, continuing that flow. So, I really enjoy doing this as a freestyle. Everything I do whenever I'm playing around with a chuck is just kind of freestyling. Then all of a sudden you toss it in there and it just kind of becomes a part of what you're doing. You can add that same stick handoff where you're here and pass it into the opposite hand, just like that. You can go ahead and incorporate that opposite stick handoff like we were doing before. Or you can get a little fancy, let that stick pass by, and catch the same stick. All right, my friends? So practice, have fun, enjoy, be safe. And one more time, this is not for self-defense. Enjoy.